What's going on, Kid Zone leaders? I want to talk about a question that maybe you've asked yourself. I know that I've asked myself many times in kids ministry, and the question is, am I really making a difference? Every week you come to Kid Zone, you're serving, you're leading your group, you're doing all the things that you need to do, and it's easy to wonder, is everything that we do on a weekly basis really making a difference? I want to just share a quick story about our church building. When we were building the new sanctuary about 10 years ago, um, what happened was for what seemed like weeks and months, there was this area that was all gravel and dirt, and there was a lot of stuff happening. There were construction workers moving all over the place, and there was a lot of activity. But for weeks and months, it didn't seem like anything was getting done. Um, and then all of a sudden, something happened, and then within a week's time, all the frame of the building was up. It was like if you weren't here for a week and you came back the next week for church, all of a sudden the whole frame for the entire building, the concourse and the sanctuary, was already built. What happened here? So basically, what happened was a lot of what was happening, the initial work was happening underground. It was pouring the foundation, it was pouring footers, and getting things done underground to be able to support what was being built above ground. So what looked like weeks and months of inactivity where nothing was being done was actually the most important parts. And that really prepared the way. It made it possible so that within 1 week's time, all the steel beams, the framing of the church could be built within a week's time. When we do kids ministry, that's exactly what we're doing. We are building a foundation that kids can basically build the rest of their lives on. And many times we don't see the actual results of what we're doing because we're doing things very rhythmically. It's a routine. We do the same things. But basically what we're doing is we are building that foundation of God's Word, God's truth, and Jesus in each one of these kids' lives. Them coming on a weekly basis is establishing lifelong habits and belief systems in their lives that are never going to change. Quick story. This is a story from another church in their children's ministry that just kind of gives you a picture of some of the things that happen on a weekly basis that you never actually think about and maybe you never hear about. There was a young girl in preschool. She was maybe 3 years old. And she was the last one in the preschool ministry. There was a volunteer. It was an older gentleman, I think in his late 60s or early 70s, who was sitting with this little girl. She was the last one there. He had to stay there until mom came and picked him up, but he's starting to get worried. We've probably seen this happen many times where the last kid is there and you're not sure where the parents are. So he's just trying to do his best to make this girl have a good experience. And he asked her, what do you want to do? And she brings a book over to him. It was Winnie the Pooh. And he started reading Winnie the Pooh with her. And he read it one time and still, mom's not there. She asked to read it again. He reads it one more time through and mom's still not there. And then she asked to read it one more time. And then the third time, he's halfway through. And at this point, it's way beyond the time that everybody else got picked up. Mom was very late. Halfway through the book, mom walks in and she just sits there and watches. She stands there and watches as he finishes the story. She doesn't interrupt. She doesn't say anything. And then this gentleman dismisses the girl with mom, checks her out and things like that. And mom pulls him aside later and says, you know what, this is the first time that she's ever had any man read to her since her dad passed away. And that moment was such a significant moment for that child and for that mom. And it was such a simple thing. It was reading a Winnie the Pooh book to this little girl. And sometimes the simple, mundane things that we do on a weekly basis are making a huge impact on kids' lives. And we don't even see those. We often won't see those, but it's so important to just be faithful, to continue to invest in kids, continue to call them by name, continue to spend time with them, continue to create a good experience for them here at church, because we very rarely see the impact of the foundation that we're building that these kids are going to build the rest of their lives on. So I want to encourage you with that. You guys are all phenomenal. I love working with each one of you. I know many of you I've personally asked to get involved with the ministry. Pastor Sarah has asked many of you personally to get involved, but we asked you to get involved for a reason. We love you. We believe in you. We enjoy working with you, and it's great having you on our team. Each one of you brings something very unique to the table, I recognize that each one of you are very different. Some of you are good at certain things over here. Other of you are good at other things. But every one of you brings something special to the team. I appreciate you. And as a team, I love what we're doing in the lives of kids as we're building these foundations for these kids to build the rest of their lives on. So thank you guys so much. I will see you guys all this weekend.